Is your Blackmagic Design Hyperdeck Mini's fan too loud? Let's fix that. Hi, I'm Bruce Gogan with Off Productions, and thank you for your interest. My Hyperdeck Mini's fan is too loud to be able to use it in my studio when I'm recording YouTube videos like this. So I decided to replace it with a much quieter version. What follows is a step-by-step tutorial on replacing the original fan. So here is the Hyperdeck, and I've taken out the screws here, and the cover comes right off like this. And this is the fan we're going to remove, and I've already taken out these two screws here to remove the fan. And the fan has this small connector down here. Let's see if we can pull that out. And so we have these black, red, yellow, and blue wires on the original fan, which was very noisy. And we're going to replace it with this fan here. And this fan has a different kind of connector on it. So that's not going to plug into here. So we have to change the wiring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of this right here. Just cut that right off. Set that aside. And peel back some of the tubing that covers it. And we can see now that we've got green, yellow, blue, and black. I think we're going to need a little bit more of this tubing cut off. By the way, in this kit, you also get several other different kinds of connectors, but none of them are like this connector here. So all of those connectors are useless. So we're just going to put that aside for now. And now we're going to cut this end off over here, off this fan. Again, this is a noisy fan. We don't need that anymore. And so we have these 4 wires here. And I am going to strip the insulation off on these 4 wires. But first I'm going to put on some heat shrink tubing, because it's easier to do now than it is to do it when it's all soldered together. So I have these 4 little pieces of heat shrink tubing already cut. And we're just going to continue stripping insulation off of these 4 wires. And it looks like we can take a little bit more insulation off this yellow wire. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pre-tin these wires. So I have a fine point soldering iron. I'm just going to pre-tin this one and this one. Flip it over here and see if we can get the black one pre-tinned. And then the blue one. That looks good. And now I'm going to strip the insulation off of these 4 wires. And I like to twist them like this to keep the ends from fraying. And I want to pre-tin these wires as well. So I will do the black one. The green one. Wipe some excess solder off. The yellow one and the blue one. So now we have a connector, the wire stripped and some heat shrink on them. And we have the new fan. And we have black, red, yellow, blue here, but we've got black, green, yellow, blue on the fan. So which pin goes to which? Well, I've done some checking, and this is what I found out. The black on the connector goes to black on the fan. So let's get that connected first here. Here's my black wire on the fan. And we'll use the black wire on the connector to the black wire on the fan. Next, red on the connector will go to yellow on the fan. So let's see if we can get that to work. I think I'm going to weigh down the fan because it keeps moving on me. Okay, that looks good. And then yellow on the connector goes to green on the fan. So we will connect those two together. That did not take. I think I need a little bit more solder on my soldering iron. like that. And so yellow again goes to green. And last, blue. Well, there doesn't seem to be any solder on this part, so we will pre-tin this connector here, this wire on the connector. Like that. And so now blue will go to blue. Good. All right, now let's slide on our heat shrink. And there we have it. So now what I want to do is make sure that this fan is going to work. Make sure I've got it hooked up the right way. So I'm just going to put this connector back into the circuit board. Clean up my work area a little bit. I've got power over Ethernet here. So let's see what happens. And the fan is turned on. And it's very quiet. Let me bring it up to my microphone here. See if you can hear anything. Okay, so that works. So now let's put the whole thing, well, actually what we need to do now is we need to shrink the heat shrink. So I have a heat shrink gun here. And I'm going to set it to low. And that should do it. And I will put the fan back in. Connector goes in this way. Make sure that's well seated. And the fan goes in here, like this. And there are 2 screw holes here. And we'll see how that comes together. My fan is now as quiet as can be, and I now feel confident in using it in my studio. Thanks for watching. I hope this was useful to you. See you next time.